If you're looking to replace the brake pads on your 2010 to 2016 Cadillac SRX, you've come to the right place. I will give you a list of all the tools and parts that I've ordered along the way, and they'll also be in the comments underneath the video as well. So check there if you're just jumping forward to that. First step, take out the little cover plate. These are size 22 millimeter lug nuts. Pretty standard. I have my jack set up. It's already supporting the vehicle just a little bit. Since I have an impact, I can take these off with it in the air, but you can go ahead and get them loosened on the ground. It's fine. They're on there tight. Make sure you get the jack in the right spot. There's a little indicator underneath there where to put it. I normally have a little rubber doodad that fits on my jack that goes over that slot in the frame, but I'm gonna risk it and just lift it up by that little groove. Once I get the tire off the ground, we're good to go. And since I'm not getting under the car, I'm just gonna risk it. I'm not gonna put a jack stand under there. The brake pads I got are Power Stop Evolution Plus ceramic disc pads with hardware kit. Let's see if I can find the part number here. There we go. Part number 17-1422 Z17 Evolution Plus ceramic brake pads. Hardware. So hardware is included. And I've already opened these up. I do have hardware, got brackets for the new pads. And there's the new pads. They will come nicely wrapped in a piece of cardboard with some plastic around them. One thing it does not come with is brake cleaner and brake lubricant. I like the basic SuperTech stuff. It works really good. This is the stuff that has all the bad gases and things like that in there. So it's important to do this in an open area if you're going to use this type of brake cleaner. But it cleans very well. And then for brake lubricant, I've had this tube of AGS Sil Glide brake lubricant for about 15 years and haven't run out. I've done probably 50 brake jobs with it, so worth it if you're going to do a lot. It's only a 4-ounce tube. I think I got it at AutoZone about 10-15 years ago, something like that. All right, let's get to work. Okay, going into the back side of the rotor. Let's see if we can see this here. Into the back side of the rotor, there's this bolt at the top, and then there's a bolt at the bottom those two you're going to want to remove all the way. And I believe, yep, it's a size 13 millimeter. So I'm going to put a 13 millimeter ratchet on it and go ahead and get those off. Okay, set these little guys aside. Now let's see if we can pry the caliper out. Before I move this all the way, I do like to get a bracket or something to hang these up with, but looks like I'm going to be able to just set up here. Just be careful not to mess up your sensor at the top. I believe there's an ABS sensor that connects to this, so you don't want to mess that up. Brake pads stayed with the bracket, so we'll just pop those out. Not too bad. These still had a little bit of life left on them. They're getting close, but again, they're just making some noise on a road trip I was on, so I went ahead and took care of these. Go ahead and take a quick comparison of these to the new pads. See if everything looks the same. Okay, let me show you what I found here. So the old brake pads are on the left. The new ones are, on the right. These are the old ones. These are the new ones. This was the one that was on the outside of the wheel. This is the one on the inside of the wheel. You notice the one on the inside of the wheel had a wear indicator located on it. The new ones have a little bit different style pad for the inside and the outside, and I'm not exactly sure which one's which. So I'm going to take a little chance here. Actually, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to go ahead and look this up, see if it matters. But my speculation is the one with the little dip at the top, this little groove, is going to be for the inside of the wheel, and this is going to be for the outside of the wheel. So the mounting tabs and everything like that are all in the same spot. It just has that one little groove cut out. So we'll see. I'll get back to you in just a second. Next up, I'm going to remove the brackets, the hardware, the old hardware. go. Both old brackets out of the way. Save the old brake pads because you'll use them to press the piston open and allow the new one to slide on. Brake clean. Watch your eyes when you spray this. No need to go too crazy with it, but get some of that gunk off there. New brackets go on. No need to put any lubricant or anything like that with the new bracket. They go on just like the old ones came off. Okay, there's the bottom one. And here's the top one. Just like that. Hopefully you can see that. The new brackets are in place. This is what they should look like. Next step, before we do the new pads, I'm going to press this caliper. These pistons in the caliper. They do sell special tools for this, but what I've learned is I've never gone wrong with my method of getting an old brake pad like this, putting it against the pistons like so, opening up a C-clamp, and just tightening this down until it opens all the way. Oop. Got my in there too deep. Trying to do this to where you can see this as well. Actually gonna get this a little tighter and then come back. Okay, hopefully you can see that. These are the pistons right here. This is the old brake pad, and then my C-clamp clamped to the outside of the caliper and inside of the brake pad. And then I'll just tighten this up. It'll do it slowly. It will squeeze fluid back into the brake lines. And if your reservoir is too full, you might want to check that. Since the reservoir was a little bit low for me, and it usually is when your brake pads are low, this shouldn't cause a problem. If someone filled the brake reservoir, it may overflow. And I'm gonna have to take this off and go to this side too, because it's not compressing evenly, which is fine. And it should not be very hard to turn at all. I'm just going slow so as not to cause a big mess. Go. Double check this side, make sure it's all the way. There we go. Good enough. Don't overturn it. Move this out of the way. And while I'm here, a little bit of brake clean on here. Again, watch your eyes when you do this. And then I'll wipe that off before we go in with some lube. Doesn't have to be perfect. The key areas to lubricate when doing brake pads are going to be these tabs, these ears that fit inside the brackets on the caliper right there. So you're going to lubricate those. I also put a little bit of lube on any type of contact surface. So on the pistons themselves, I'll put lubricant around the piston, and then I'll put a little bit of lubricant on the inside of each of these tabs right here where they will contact the back of the front brake pad. There you go. Lubricant on the inside of the pistons, just on the outer ring of the piston, and then on these ears right here, these tabs. Anywhere that contacts the brake pad. And then for the outer brake pad, I'm going to put lubricant on these ears, just like so. You don't have to overdo it, just a little bit. That's all you need. And then this will go pad side towards the rotor, just like so. That. And the same thing for the back one, or the inside pad. Put a little in these ears. Now, if you buy this same kit I bought, it is wise to go ahead and get yourself some lubricant and some brake cleaner, because the kit did not come with it for me. I don't know if that's normal or not. Most kits I've purchased come with a little tube of this stuff. There it goes. Okay, sorry about that, guys, but what I had to do was angle this bottom one in all the way first, and then I could fit the top part in. So that was a little awkward, but it did go in eventually. You just have to be patient with it, like I was. All right, now it's time to put the car back together. And again, I already have lube on the caliper itself, the pistons, and the tabs. Make sure not to tangle up your brake, brake fluid line as this is going back on. Should slide on nice and easy. If it does not, then you need to open up the caliper a little bit more, open up the pistons a little bit more. Next step, we'll take those bolts that I took out. Okay. I like to get the first one snug, then get the second one started, get it snug, and then go back for a final tightening. These don't go down too tight. I think they're about 35 foot-pounds. Don't quote me on that. I will look up the actual spec and put it in the notes here. But I never really bother with that on these bolts because I never had an issue with it. I just tighten them up good. That should be plenty good. Now, the one place I do care about torque specs is with the wheel lug nuts. So the wheel lug nuts, if you have a 2010 through a 2012, I believe it is, or actually 2010 through a 2013, which this is a 2013, you're gonna have 110 foot-pounds on each of the lug nuts. If you're a 2014 to 2016, it's gonna be 140 pounds. And the older body style SRX, the pre-2010 versions, the kind of boxier looking ones, those are only 100 foot-pounds. So again, this one's gonna be 110. Okay, they're just loosely snug with a wrench, with a ratchet, nothing major. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to set the tire on the ground with some of its weight on it. Okay, so it's got some of its weight on it now. Should keep it from spinning. Grab my torque wrench and we'll go to 110. If you've never used a torque wrench before, I'll show you how it works. You have pound-feet measured on one side, and you'll have Newton meters measured on the other side. So we're gonna go, you can see, probably hard to see on this camera, but you can see that there are marks up here. 110 has a little diagonal that goes down and it touches that line. So you're gonna wanna spin it till the 0 hits the 110. Okay, once the 0 is on the 110, it's set. I like to lock this in just in case. I spin it by hand. And then I can go through my torque sequence in a star pattern, and you'll hear it click twice. That's one tightened. 2 is tightened. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll just go around real quick just to make sure nothing got loose in the process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last step to make it pretty. Put the cap back on. These have little grooves in them. I like to line them up. I noticed they weren't lined up before, but I like to line them up with the grooves in the wheels. Doesn't really matter. Who knows? There we go. Doesn't really want to stay on, but I'll probably lose it on the highway. Mess around with that a little more. Well, I hope you found this video informative. The back brakes and the front brakes both work the same way, so if you've done this one, you know how to do the rest. Best of luck to you, and if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Thanks.